Hello, welcome to Stratele Studios. I'm SKEB and we're very pleased to have you.
With more feeling, man. You gotta put more feeling.
Oh my
in it.
God.
Try it again.
Okay, wait, how's more feeling?
Oh my God.
How's it going?
How's it going? Oh my gosh, dude. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, same. Yeah, yeah, this is so nice. So nice to meet you.
Oh
Finally.
my gosh, finally.
Yeah.
You know, I was doing a little research on you today, and I'll tell you, man, I was going through we'll get into this more, but
There's nothing.
I was going into your social media and stuff, and I was just so entertained, man. I was like, oh my gosh, you just have this wealth of stuff up, just little bits and pieces and little quickie stuff it's just so incredibly interesting, man. I really enjoyed my little deep dive today.
Okay. Is that on my Facebook, Sebastian Flingos?
Yeah, it was Instagram and Facebook, yeah, and whatever else I could dig up on you.
Right. Well, that's nice to know because for a while it was a little bit tricky to try and navigate what platforms to use because I feel like when I started sharing my content,
Yeah.
I made my Facebook, which was just my name, but I started posting on there, but I already had it as my name, and then I made the artist Facebook and then the Instagram, and it's just like, oh, and then TikTok came along. It's just like, oh boy.
Yeah. I saw that because there was like a SKEB profile, then there was a Sebastian Flynn. How do you pronounce your last name?
Flynn Goz.
Gauze.
It's a double-barreled name.
Flynn Gauze.
Yeah.
So I saw that you also went under your name, your real name, and so there are a couple of different things up there, and I was like sorting through it, trying to find out, okay, was one of these abandoned? Are you like double timing the social media here, or
Yeah, I pretty much abandoned the Sebastian Flynn Goz thing because
Okay.
I was sort of way back. I have a YouTube channel that Sebastian Flynn Goz that no one should check because it's horrendous stuff that I did like in my early 20s. But I was trying things out though, so but it's quite different to SKEB, and I was kind of mixing everything and then I kind of realized that it's a bit of a mouthful of a name, Sebastian Flynn Goz. I would tell people and no one would ever remember. So
I know.
Yeah.
And you won't forget SKEB.
Exactly.
You just won't forget that. So let's talk about where you are at right now. So where are you zooming me from?
I'm in Barcelona.
And knowing the time difference here, because we were chatting about that earlier, you're a night owl because it's like 2 a.m. for you right now. Right?
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah, I've had really good boy sleeping schedules. Waking up at 7 a.m. or whatever. But it just sometimes I get so excited about the new music I'm recording, and then I just I pull these one night, all-nighters, and
that's all it takes to shift your whole schedule is just like one long night, and you're like, I'm just going to stay up, and then it gets harder and harder to get back on it.
Exactly. Oh, getting back is so difficult. It really is, especially if you've been doing it gradually, like you're pushing like an hour each day.
Exactly.
And it's even worse when you're I don't know. I've stopped fighting it because I would get into good schedules, and then I don't know, be like asked to play gigs or something, and then I'd be getting back home at like 5 a.m. So
oh my gosh,
it's just like,
oh well, if you keep doing this, you're gonna gain a day on your life here because
I've done that though. I've actually done that. Yeah, that's how I fixed it. Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing this up because I feel quite almost guilty,
No, no,
talking
no,
about
no.
it because I've brought it up before, and depending who you're talking to, the person will be like, "All right, mate,"
Oh,
but yeah, I've done it like so I'll be going to bed at like 7 a.m., which is kind of good. There's quite a few. I know quite a few creatives who go to bed at that time. So
absolutely.
but yeah, and then one time it was during the pandemic. I was like, I
Mm.
got to fix this. I was like, the only solution
Yeah,
is to go an hour forward every
exactly.
day. Yeah,
Exactly.
because going back is impossible. It's too hard, you know?
This sounds like a time travel movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The only way to fix this is to go forward. We can't go forward.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's great.
Or, or move to California.
I
Like,
was going to say, you're just
yeah,
setting yourself up to come to California, man,
yeah,
because now you're on my schedule. So,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
oh,
Yeah.
that's great, man. So, so I've done three reaction videos so far.
Yeah.
Only three. And I'm gonna catch up to you, so you're gonna have to get working on these videos once I hit that threshold, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna run out of stuff with you. But yeah, I'll tell you, I just gotta tell you face to face, and I know that you take compliments kind of hard, and you know and I'm not gonna push it too much with you, but I just wanted to tell you face to face, when I saw Fix You, um that video, it completely sideswiped me. I did not expect what I was going to see and what I was going to feel when I saw it. And this is the kind of thing that makes me continue to do this channel and to do what I do. It's because of musicians and artists like you doing music like this, because I certainly don't make a lot of money at it. I already have a full-time job. This
Right.
is the thing I do after I'm done with my day of work. So I've got to have the energy and the enthusiasm. And when I see stuff like this, it just fuels me and it gets me so excited. And I was completely blown away by it. And, you know, you heard what I said in the video about just all of the things that you did in that just, really got to me. And the thing that I just want to say about it is what I appreciate the most out of it, even though I'm a total tech head, I'm a technical guy as a musician. I love that kind of stuff, but it was the emotional content that got me. It was what you
Right.
did that brought the emotion that really got to me. And tell me a little bit about just like your approach to writing in that respect, with the balancing of the technical and the emotional aspect of creation.
Okay. Well, wow. First of all, thank you. I mean, because taking compliments can be kind of weird, but to be honest, it is it's obviously nice to get because it kind of gives you the encouragement to keep going.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I probably don't take compliments. I try to take them lightly because I want to keep like this motion, of
Yeah.
going and not be like,
No.
yeah, okay, I'm great, I'm
Yeah.
done,
I could
So,
stop now. I am
yeah,
good. I'm gonna just
yeah,
stop right here.
yeah. I mean, it's just yeah, no, but it is really nice, and I really appreciated your reaction video. Also because I really felt like um I'm going to throw you a curveball compliment back, but I really feel like you're someone who truly listens, and you kind of, because sometimes you get people who listen to music and it can be awkward listening to music with other people because
Yeah. Oh
they'll
yeah.
make it about themselves and they'll
Totally.
talk like during the song, and it's just like, oh dude, you're talking whilst the music's playing, like, come
The
on,
best part, I know.
yeah, it's like, yeah, so yeah, so but yeah, so I really got the feeling, because I've got friends like that as well who I really learned, who reinforced this activity of like really listening to music, like really like taking it in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I can really tell that, you know, you're someone like that. So that's what was really nice, you know, because it could have been another. I love reaction videos, but it could have been another person who would have like stopped it like like 10 seconds after, you know, after it started.
I know. I
So,
it's funny because I take kind of a different approach. What's funny about all this for me with the reaction channel is that I don't watch reaction channels. I don't really know what anybody else does. And
okay.
that's purposeful because I want to kind of, you know, grow this organically and not emulate what anyone else is doing and just kind of carve my own niche. And if I make mistakes, then I make mistakes. If I, you know, I'll learn how to correct those things that maybe somebody else has already figured out. But the thing is that I'm trying to trust my instincts and my love of the music, and not stopping the video was important to me because I don't stop any of the videos. There's not a single video that I stop and make a comment because, quite frankly, the musicians are more important than I am. The music is more important than I am. I have no right to stop the music, somebody else's creation or whatever. It kills the groove. It's just like, it makes it about me. Like you said, it ends up making it about me. And
even though there's an aspect, I'd say that it is important that like you are important because it's a reaction video, right? But it's like you have enough trust in yourself to have the words to express your insightful thoughts afterwards. You know, you're not sort of like you're not sort of like jumping to the case. But at the same time, I'm not hating on the, you know, on the stoppers as well.
Well, you know, I've said before is that, you know, I'm not criticizing somebody if that's what they do. I'm saying it's not for me. You know, it's just not for me. It's just not what I like to do. And I find get a deeper connection, you know, with the music in that way. Because if I stop it, you know, forget about what anyone else does. If I stop it, then that stops me from the flow and enjoying it and getting more and more into it. It's like watching a movie and you're constantly getting up and you just get out of the flow.
I know people like that.
Oh God, dude.
Yeah, but you know, and that's okay. That's okay. But anyway, So apologies. I brought us on a tangent from the the question.
No.
I appreciate you saying that the emotion comes through because I do aim for that. But at the same time, doing the covers is quite interesting because I see the covers as a vehicle for experimentation because everyone knows these melodies already, and these melodies are already set in stone. Because for example, like a quick tangent, I found that doing experimentation on original songs to get like the main like vocal or the melodic idea through, it can be trickier. You have to sort of like establish it first, and in a sort of way. That's what I found in my experience. You know, other people might have their ways of doing things, but for me it's been quite tricky. So the covers are actually, it's really fun to just see what you can get away with, and I want to see what I can get away with. I want to I'll have like a bunch of ideas, and I'll try all sorts of things out. Actually, I do like a lot of variations. I've got like tons of like projects of Fix You.
Oh, like, really? Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah. I do like a really I think some people, if they saw my sessions, they would go a little bit like, how the fuck? Because it's kind of like chaotic. Because I do things like I've seen one other guy who's done it, because I was watching this series of it's like these electronic producers, and they call it like In the Door, and they're like sharing like each other's like door sessions. And there's this one guy, and I was like, oh cool, I'm not the only one. And he does this thing where he takes like sections of his songs and he copies them. He has like the same section again and again and again in the, so he's like on this final one, he's on like bar 1000 something.
Oh,
You know, because it's like he's been like doing different versions of this chorus, so you can like,
wow. Oh my gosh.
and I like doing that because then I can
Oh my
um
gosh.
it,
That is brilliant.
yeah,
Wow.
so it's like I'll do something and I'm happy with it, and then I'll be like,
Oh my God.
ooh, but what if like, okay, what if like the bass like did something slightly different or something? So I'd copy it, and then so I can
Oh,
quickly go
oh,
back and forth and check, and you know, so I do things like that.
you just gave me a
Uh,
major tip, man. That
yeah.
that because I'll make another project to do that. And I didn't think of just consolidated in the same session, and just you got quick access to all this stuff. You could A/B things very quickly, and
Exactly.
that's a great way to work. Wow.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's another way of doing it, like of like maybe you could group
Mm.
a bunch of tracks and then A B them like
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
they go like that or something.
Right. Right.
But I don't have the patience for that, so I just copy and
Right.
paste it. So um and like yeah, and you know, of course, look, I've thought of that as well, like doing other um like another project, but yeah,
Mm.
I'm just like, nah, fuck it, just
Yeah.
if I'm
Yeah.
gonna do
Yeah.
like a slight little change or something, or you know, change
Yeah.
the chords
Not worth
slightly, and
the effort.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
Yeah. Like
yeah.
with Fix You, for example, just use that one. When you like, we're all familiar with the song, and I know that you must have been very familiar with it before you started to reimagine the song. Um,
Yeah, it's a classic.
was this? Oh,
Everyone in the
yeah.
UK hates them, by the way,
Oh,
which I don't understand
oh,
actually.
really?
I think that's a shame.
They
Like,
hate Coldplay.
yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
yeah, me like growing up in the UK is kind of popular to like I think the UK kind of does that. They kind of, when a band from the UK gets
They
popular,
they
there's a
snub them.
tendency to like slag them off.
You're too big.
Yeah,
We don't like
exactly.
you anymore. We like you
Yeah.
when nobody liked you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so the trick is just stay below the threshold, I guess, right?
It's stay below the
Or
threshold.
or move to America, move to the US, then you can continue down the road.
Right. I mean,
We
they're still, you know, they must be doing good, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So when you decided that you wanted to take that song and do your treatment on it, um, were you already bubbling with some ideas in your head before you really sat down in your studio? Did you kind of go, oh, if I did this and this, or are you primarily working like on it when you are in the studio and you have access to all of your gear? How is that?
Yeah, I mean, my home studio. I did it in London, and I was just I was messing around with the chords for the
Mm,
first verse. I just for fun. I it's kind of like a hobby of mine to,
yeah.
as a hobbyist pianist and keyboardist. Um, you know, I was just sort of practicing singing it, and I was like, and I was finding these chords and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, that's really fun. And then I like I kind of film a lot what I
Oh.
do. I'm always like, and then I forgot about it,
Mm,
came back to it. I flipped through my phone like a couple weeks later, and I was
mm.
like, that's pretty cool actually. So I started, I did like that very lo-fi relaxed
Mm,
intro,
mhm.
and then funny enough, then I dropped it, and then I did the gent outro.
Yeah.
So I actually started with the two uh
Oh.
like the beginning and the end, and I had no idea what to do at the beginning. Actually,
Well, let's see. What should I do with the middle? I'll get in the
yeah,
swimming pool. That's what I'll
yeah,
do.
exactly. Yeah.
We'll figure the
Yeah,
rest out later, but
yeah,
definitely, that's what it has to get done. Wow, that's
yeah.
this is one of the things I love about you as a musician, from musician to musician, is your reharmonization is so good, man. Oh, I love how you reharmonize stuff. And as I was digging deeper in your social media, I saw more examples of your skill at reharmonizing chords, man. And that has to come from your education. So let's talk about a little bit about your education. You went to school in London?
Yeah, I went to sort of so it's kind of an interesting story actually, because um first my first sort of school that I went to was in Paris, which was like a just as like a jazz college for students to like prepare and stuff. Because before that, even though like I grew up in a musical family, I actually in my early teens, I played a bit of guitar and everything, but I actually wanted to be an artist. I was really into drawing.
Oh,
And in the UK at the time, there was a system where when you're like 13, you you're supposed to like choose the subjects you want to focus on. And I had the opportunity to do music. And I almost picked it, but I didn't. I chose art instead.
wow.
So because of that, it kind of afterwards, it was a little bit like, ah, fuck, what am I gonna do? Like after I picked art, and you know, the I sort of went into the year, I just got really, really into music. Like typical, right? Like, you know,
Yeah, of
I met
course.
like a group of friends who really got me into music, and then we started jamming, and I was practicing all the time. And
Oh
so,
my gosh.
and at that point it was too late. I couldn't so I could see people like I remember like really envying some of the fellow students, like complaining about their music theory homework. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck, I wish I want that problem, you know?
I
So
want music
yeah,
theory homework
yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
so I sort of, yeah, I jump started the whole thing by, um, my dad's French, so he was living in Paris at the time, so I sort of had the opportunity to go move with him, and I went to a college just to study. Also, my granddad, who's rest in peace, he was an amazing musician and
Oh,
incredible,
wow.
sort of like a prodigy of his, you know,
Mm,
of the family, you know,
mm.
ever since he was young. And I went to see him every day, and he taught me
Oh my
how to read music,
gosh. Wow.
and then we sat and listened to music together, and we talked about it.
Oh.
And
Mm.
and then after that, after about a year and a half, I wanted to go back to London and and then entered a university. I went back, and then I did like grades, my grades.
Yeah.
So it was recognized by the English sort of system, and then
Oh, oh, right.
and then I went to like a jazz uni.
Hmm.
Really, which was, and that uni was like was sick.
Oh,
Lack of a better word, you know, was
yeah.
just like the teachers, the lecturers there were amazing.
Oh man.
Um, if you want, like, you should check out Nikki Isles. She's like an amazing pianist, and she's like amazing with chords.
Mm.
Um, and there's another guy called Rob Townsend, who's an amazing sax player. And so just all like really killer musicians, just
Yeah.
sort of teaching in the school. Um, yeah, but like truthfully, I feel like I've learned more about chords and harmony like after uni.
Mm.
I feel like maybe uni things like education kind of gives you the right questions to ask.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
then when you go, I kind of left like I think maybe it's probably a normal feeling, but I was rather underwhelmed when I left and graduated. I was like,
Okay.
fuck, is
You thought you'd know more,
yeah,
and
right, exactly. I
yeah.
was like, I gotta know more. But I was at that point, I was sort of like um bringing in a lot of ideas to, because we had to like write stuff,
Mm.
and you know they always seemed to think it was pretty cool.
Oh,
You know,
good.
I was like reharmonizing. I'd bring in like reharmonizations and stuff. But yeah, and then but from there, it was like the studying of chords went further, really.
Hmm.
And actually, I see like everything I release is kind of, I'm like partly like I'm like researching whilst I'm recording. You know,
Hmm.
I you know, uh, I'll like check out for inspiration. You know, yeah, other composers or other artists of today. You know, and
For inspiration, like with harmony
yeah,
and
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So see what I can learn and analyze it and see what I can get from it.
Is
Because
there
I
a
even have like, sorry,
No, I was going to say, is there like someone that comes to mind if I was to ask you who's like the master of harmony in your opinion, like somebody
oh,
that you like to go to?
a few guys. Um, there's an
Coldplay? No, I'm just
there's
kidding.
a yeah, yeah. And there's not because we spoke the other day, and
Yeah.
there's a bit of an obvious. I was
Yeah.
absolutely obsessed with Allan Holdsworth.
Yes.
I think he it's yeah, it's amazing. And you know, funny enough, like that was one of the things, like when I was going to uni, um I think that so we had a harmony teacher, and she was amazing, and I think she was kind of like she was holding back some stuff, like, you know. But I should
Yeah.
have gone to. There were a few lessons that I missed, and I should have probably gone to. But we learned things like slash chords
Yeah.
and slash chords and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it started off like very bebop, and then it got a bit like more fusion towards the end.
Mm.
But like I the whole time I was like obsessive Holsworth, and I wanted to
Yeah.
like learn these. I wanted to learn these huge chords,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it wasn't really coming up. And in hindsight, I kind of understand because it wasn't applicable uh for the curriculum at the
Mm.
time. A lot of the students were going there because they wanted to be like good jazz
Mm.
session musicians.
Right.
But I think if you want to learn some like Allan Holdsworth at the time anyway, that's something you do in your own time with
Yeah.
the information you've got, you know, because
Yeah.
we were learning like, you know, again, like I said, like I don't know, like bebop jazz progressions, like the backdoor 2-5-1s or whatever, and then maybe
Yeah.
turning those into slash chords, you know, you know, the triad on triads and stuff. But
Yeah.
and yeah, it didn't really get into polychords.
Hmm.
But thing is, once you're shown slash chords,
Yeah.
um, that's kind of the next solution. If you start
Yeah.
looking further, you because I think the big thing with Holdsworth is polychords. I kind of
Hmm.
realized
Mm.
he was very ambiguous about his answers when it came
Yeah.
to harmony, but I've kind of realized after a while.
Do you think he
Yeah,
defaulted to that because he didn't really know what the hell he was doing? Because from what I know of him in interviews and stuff like that, and I had a chance to chat with him many
oh yeah.
yeah, many years ago. He was at the NAMM show. Okay, I gotta show you this.
Oh, that's epic.
So I got to tell you about this. So notice he's holding two beers in one hand.
Oh, is
The
right.
guy used to drink, man.
Yeah, I've heard.
So I'll just do a quick aside and I want to get back on
Yeah.
what you're saying. But he was at the NAMM show and I walked up to him. He's at the bar and he was drinking two beers at the same time. So he was drinking one beer, he's drinking another beer. I came up to shake his hand and he didn't know what to do with his beers. He was Here's this genius. He can't make his way through. What do I do with my beers? And and so I went to grab one to hold it for him, and he didn't let me. He's like, he pulled it back, and then he grabbed it like this, and then he shook my hand. And he held both beers in one hand. Um, but yeah, I chatted with him a little bit, but he was pretty quiet guy. He didn't like to talk very much about himself or about his music or anything
Yeah.
like that. He would talk
Yeah.
about bicycles. He was a cyclist. He loved talking about bikes and that kind of a thing, or ale. his favorite subject, but he didn't really like to talk about music. But what I wondered about him is because the approach he took, because I don't believe that he was classically educated or had that kind of an upbringing. I think he just picked up the instrument and went at it and applied just his own analysis of it and said, this is what makes sense to me. So he may have not really known what he was doing,
Yeah. I think it's a mix of both, because it's like after a while of like going into these sounds and using them, and they become a part of you, you don't really think about it that much. And also it becomes like, I think maybe, I mean, this is for me anyway, I've gone through different phases of thinking of harmony and music in different ways. That's been really helpful, like looking at it from like different angles, because there's so many angles you can look at it, especially harmony. And then after a while, I think you kind of process that, and it becomes too confusing to explain all the different angles you can talk about it. And and one thing, and I was thinking the same as you when it came to Holdsworth, because it is the sound, right? The sound, you hear the sound, and then you end up gravitating towards that sound naturally. But there was an interview where he spoke about one of his first bands, and he talked about how they were using polychords, like they were experimenting with polychords.
Wow.
And it was like, and it was a really, really young band of his. He says,
wow.
Yeah, they were like teenagers or something, and so if he's saying that, it's like, okay, he knows what these things, he knew what these things were.
Yeah.
But then in his VHS
instructional video, I have that too.
Yeah, he says like, just select a bunch of people in the scale and ask them to stand up.
That's the family analogy was was absolutely brilliant.
Which makes sense as well, like in how he came up with the chords in letters of mark, and stuff like that. Like he's probably so I think it's like he probably heard, he knew the concept of polychords from early on, and then got attracted to that sound. But of course on guitar that's very difficult to do, actually. To emulate it is possible to do, but it's tricky.
You have to make you have to make some compromises because of the nature of the instrument as opposed to piano. You got to drop certain notes in the chord or whatever, that kind of a thing.
But then again, the guitar will kind of teach you what the necessary notes to drop are, like what the essential ones, so you know what the essential.
That's true. Very true.
So,
all right, the fifth is out. We're no fifth from here on out. No fifth, right? It doesn't say anything. Okay, the third says something, the seventh says something, and all the extensions, but the 5 is just going for the ride. The 5's not in it anymore. Wow, man.
There's a guy actually who's done like a full-on he's done like tons of transcriptions, and he's analyzed it, and he's managed to like take away some like the usual shapes that he uses, and he's kind of guessing that. And there's a lot of triadic stuff that he uses,
Wow.
It is a lot of, because one thing you can do on guitar is slash chords really easily. He does that. He did that a lot.
Wow.
Like superimposing triads over weird bass notes.
Exactly.
But
oh my gosh. Wow, man. That's the thing about his music. I like to analyze people's music, if it's like a guitar player or solo or a lick or whatever, and transcribe it and learn it and all that. But with him, it's kind of funny because it's like I've never felt compelled to do that. I didn't, it's almost like I didn't want to know what he was doing. I just kind of wanted to keep like that magic there and just go, okay, I don't want
Yeah.
to understand what he's
Yeah.
doing, and just oh, he's one of a kind. I just want to enjoy what he does.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned to you how incredible it would have been if somebody had orchestrated his music. If somebody took, oh my gosh, can you imagine like Shallow Sea, for example, with an orchestra?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many of his songs that if I was in the presence of an orchestra playing his stuff, boy, whew, I'd be in tears
Yeah.
pretty easy, pretty quickly, you know.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be, yeah.
that's
I would have loved to have, yeah. Rest in peace, you know, Allan Holdsworth. I would have loved to have seen him live.
Oh, you never got a chance to see him?
No.
Live. Oh. Okay.